want to overwhelm you today, but I have a quick question. For those of you that has been targeted for years now, you guys may have valuable information or more information than I have. So what happened was today we had to go pick up our state license. In order for us to qualify for this license, we had to submit documentation that stated you had no background. We had to undergo fingerprints, FBI fingerprints, state fingerprints, all type, even credit checks, everything to make sure that you qualify for this license. Okay. I had to pick it up at the CHP office. It's not done at no check cashing place. It's done at our police department. Okay, as you do your fingerprints, it says come up in the system, doesn't. Then you gotta wait for your local. Then you gotta wait for your national FBI background check, national security, everything. So in order to get our license, this has to be done. So my question to you guys is, how are we still getting gang stop when our backgrounds are coming up clear? For example, today when I went to go pick up my documentation, I was being gang stalked inside of the police department. And you're like, how is that possible? And how do I know, or how do I feel it was a gang stalking procedure? Is because when I entered into the building, it was a family waiting there. Okay? It's COVID. You're not allowed to have all these people in this building. Because when we went in as employees, they was like, oh, wait in your cars. We'll come get you. Because it was just like 3 of us, and they was like, no, we'll come out and get you. Can y'all wait in your cars? Okay, so we like, okay, but now I go in there today. It's a family in there. A wife, a husband, they 2 kids just sitting there. And then the officer asked me, have you been helping? They said, no, we're just waiting. So you're thinking like, you haven't been helped, but you're just waiting. What are you waiting for? Okay, so it's my turn. I went up, and my 2 other co-workers went up. These people still have not been served, or refuses to be served. Long story short, so now it's my turn. Okay, and mind you, a detail that I left out is as soon as I arrive, the guy stands up and walks outside and does the phone procedure where they have to do something on their phone, whatever, right? I'm driving, so that's why you see the motions. So he does whatever he has to be done on his phone. You know how they click their little phone and let you know that the person's here. Okay, so now it's my time. I'm done. He gets up as soon as I'm done. I'm not even done checking out. The officer comes out, hands me my document, goes over the procedures, talking about, yeah, this is your temporary, long story short. However, you will receive your original in the mail. Out loud, conversation being had out loud, conversation between co-workers is being had about how we had to undergo the procedure. In order to receive this documentation, we had to sign a document, and not only didn't have to sign a document, we had to do like a verbal agreement stating that we are being positive, we're not falsifying information, we have not had no criminal activity, even as far as our DMV printout had to be clean. That's how serious they wanted it, right? And we had to contest that this is true. If it's falsified information, it's perjury, we will be sentenced to jail time. Okay? After doing a verbal, after doing a signed documentation, we also had to put it in writing in a sentence form saying, I declare, I understand that it's perjury. If I have been on parole, I must let them know for what criminal activity, have ever been charged, ever convicted, all of this, okay? But we are still being gang stalked. Can somebody please explain to me how and why? These are co-workers knowing that you have to undergo this extensive background check, and I still feel like there's some way believe the falsified information. And how is police allowing people to gang stalk you in their own location? I understand that you guys sit there and say, they work with them, but at the same time, you have these so-called rules and regulations, but you don't never have nobody vouching for them and saying they must, like if I was a police officer and somebody's saying these things about these people, and you don't know because it's just a verbal transaction, why don't they speak up and say, you know what, this could have been happening, but this is not true? Because I seen it with my own eyes. Her background check came out clear, so I don't know where they're getting this stuff from. Just leave her alone, or leave him alone. So those of you guys that's been in this situation for over 10 years, please explain to me, how is this possible? I'm really lost for words. It's kind of depressing. depressing to think that this is happening to us. I know we're not supposed to worry about it, but my problem is, how are people being so fooled and naive? What are they telling them? What do you think they're telling them? Because you have people that you work with that's undergoing all these procedures and they still being fooled. It just don't make sense. I can't see myself working with somebody and somebody sit there and says, oh, this person has this background, but I'm like, well, how is she being allowed to work here? Well, how is she getting her license with us when we have to undergo and tell the truth that we don't have no criminal background? What makes this person so worth? You get what I'm trying to say? So please, you guys, help me get clarification, because it's bothering me. I'm the type of people that I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna let it go, but I always got to know the whys and the hows. It bothers me. I lose sleep over it. Like, how is that possible? It just don't make sense. Somebody help me make sense to that. Send your videos, because those of you that have been sending videos to help me gain an understanding of what my environment is pertaining to, I appreciate those that just send your words and prayers. I appreciate that too. But I'm still seeking answers. I will not give up until I get closer to an answer of how this system is ran. I feel that's my duty. Okay, I don't feel like I'm supposed to exactly know who and why. I just want to know how is this possible, so that you can stop break the change from this continuously to continues to be happening. But that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about. Thank you for listening. Please submit your comments, your answers, your videos, your links, anything to get a clarification of how are you passing all this? How are these people gang stalking you in the police department? Civilians, and he passing out stickers to the kids. Hey, you guys, you want stickers? I guess that's their incentive. And as soon as I walk out, these people walk right behind me. So they didn't even wait to get no documents or whatever they's waiting for, and sits in the parking lot until you pull off and all of a sudden their car works. You know, it's just weird.